Alright, so we're here today in front of China Yuan. We're going to be going inside for some dim sum. And just in case anybody wanted to know what dim sum really meant, it's two words broken up. Dim means small and sum means heart. And for some reason that means small little pieces of food, which is kind of like the Spanish tapas. But dim sum, like I said, is small heart. So I guess if you have enough small little pieces of food, it'll be good for your heart, I guess. I don't know, make you happy. Anyways, we're gonna go into China Yuan and try it out. Oh, we're starting. Okay. So we're here at China Yuan restaurant today in Tampa. We're trying to figure out what it is that we're gonna eat for dim sum. Hi. Jasmine tea.
And water.
So we just ordered our tea, in case you're wondering. Now we have to figure out what dim sum we're going to have. At this restaurant, they have a convenient little sheet, so you don't have to wait for the carts. We're going to go to another dim sum restaurant at some other point where they have the carts, and we'll go ahead and show you what we do there. So the first thing we do is we go through our list and we see what's on there, and then we check. So normally we like to get a shrimp dumpling, which is one of those. And then we normally like to get the fried taro dumpling, which is one of those. And we also like to get it's on here somewhere. We get the subai, which is over there. We also like to get the rice paste, which we like to call chanfan. And that's wherever she's pointing to. And there's always the beef tripe, but we'll skip that one today.
Thank you.
We got sticky rice, we normally get that. And in case you're wondering, yes, the rice is sticky. Thank you. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Shrimp dumpling. Move the glass. Fried taro dumpling. Let's get a fried chive dumpling too while we're at it.
Those are yummy.
You got the rice paste. Chicken feet, we're gonna skip that today.
Thank you.
Like usual.
The bugs would be disappointed by that.
Alright, I think that's normally what we get. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items.
Will we be getting congee today?
Let's get congee. We're gonna need to look at the menu in order to do that. And when we look at the menu and we want to order congee, we have to go to the section that says congee. And then find our pencil underneath the menu, pull the sheet out again. We have all kinds. We got the fried dough congee, which is kind of like fried dough and congee. Plain congee has nothing in it. Chicken congee, no live birds. Beef congee, fish fillet congee, never had that, probably has fish in it. Shrimp congee, stay away from that if you're allergic. Seafood congee, probably has shrimp, so stay away from that if you're allergic. And shredded pork with preserved egg congee, my favorite. It has the black eggs in it, which are 1,000 years old. They bury those and then they dig them back up 1,000 years later. But we're going to have the chicken congee today.
Not all of us like the preserved egg.
And the way to do that is to look at this and see what number it is. It's 164. And just to make sure, we write down what it is. And if they can read your writing, you'll get it.
Do you have to write down the price too?
We don't have to, but if we want to make sure they don't charge us extra, that might be a good idea. Thank you, Emily, for the suggestion.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think that's it, unless there's something else.
Unless you want to add some sort of noodle, but I think we're okay.
Okay, sometimes we have beef chow fun, and that's pretty good. And that's a noodle, not the beef part, but the chow fun. All right, I guess we're ready to go.
All right.
Have some tea. Oh, that's hot. I think I'll wait.
Somebody's anxious.
All right, so these are the fried taro puffs, and these are the sticky rice, wrapped up in the lotus leaves.
That's for the congee. Emily's favorite, my favorite, although she took that first.
Yes, I did.
All right, a little lesson on using chopsticks. Right there. The trick is, pretend you're writing, stick the other one between the next two fingers, shift a little, shift your fingers up or move the chopsticks down, and go in for the kill. Oh man, this one's tricky, look. That makes it hard to pick things up. But if you have good finger strength, you can pick anything up with chopsticks, except for concrete blocks.
Is that only pretty hard?
Yeah, you might break the concrete blocks.
This is a big variety and a selection of different things you can put on your food to make it have different tastes or taste better, you know.
Alright, ignore my contortioning face. I had some stuff stuck in my teeth. So, this is hot chili oil. Looks like they probably made it here themselves. Basically, all they do is they deep fry the chilies. Well, actually, they take the dried hot chilies, chop them up, and then they like deep fry it, or they fry them up in a wok probably, because they probably don't have a frying pan. And then all the hot stuff from the chili goes into the oil, and that's how you get hot chili oil. Now you gotta be careful how you touch these things, because if you get them on your hand and then you rub your eyes, you're gonna be crying for days. This stuff's really hot. And then of course they have, you know, the soy sauce. This is probably your light soy sauce, which is saltier. Your dark soy sauce, which is not as salty. And then your salt and pepper. Not to be confused with the band. Or is that a band or a duo? I don't know. But these are the siumais. And notice I picked them up with my chopsticks because they didn't give me any forks. Now, these chopsticks are kind of flimsy. Thank you. So these are kind of flimsy, and since there's no rules to using chopsticks, we're allowed to squeeze them with your other hand. And that cuts through these pretty good. So by doing that, we don't have to get a fork. You may have noticed that we did get a delivery while we were waiting for food here. And that's our beef rice paste. We're going to talk about that in a second because I want to have my siumai. Unless somebody else wants to talk about it. Okay, so this is the beef rice paste. It's basically rice paste wrapped around some beef. But this is kind of a big fit. Okay, this time I picked it up okay, but normally you can't pick it up that good. So normally what we do is we'll cut it in half and we'll use the two-hand style, which is not a kung fu style, but use the two-hand style. Sometimes you have to pretend it's like a knife and fork. bit smaller. And then pick up your half, make sure you get plenty of soy sauce. And this is kind of not just plain soy sauce because it's a little bit sweet, so make sure it's coated real good. Pick it up. That's really good. Good stuff. These are the chive dumplings. And I'll just cut one open to show you what's in there, in case you're kind of wondering what chive dumplings are. They're pork dumplings with some chives in it.
Congee.
Thank you. So we got some pork, which is the lighter colored stuff, and we got the chives, which is green. So pick those up, put them on your plate, because you don't eat off other people's plates. These are shrimp dumplings. I don't eat those because I'm allergic, but they're really good. They're popular among a lot of people who don't have allergies or shrimp. And that is congee, chicken congee, which is essentially a sort of like a rice porridge. Kind of runny, but kind of thick. Got rice in it. And there's different varieties of congee. This one has chicken in it, and some have, like I said, my favorite 1,000-year-old egg, which is something that I really like, but if you like black eggs, that's kind of the way it is. So we're gonna try some more of this food and go from there. All right, so this is the ritual spooning of the congee. Notice the technique. If you have a waiter, that's what they'll do too. And you gotta make sure you're not gonna drip any, because that's a waste. Let's get a little bit more here. Some people like to drag the spoon. It kind of makes a mess too. More a mess. Oh, this stuff's pretty hot. As you may have noticed from the steam, if it came through on the video. So then everybody gets a little bit.
Thank you.
And then we take our spoon, well, you know, like everybody else. Take a taste. Low first, because tastes like congee. Alright, so now we're going to talk about tea. So tea is basically tea leaves and water. Usually it's hot water. Unless you like cold tea, then it's hot water and ice to make it cold. So the normal practice is that you fill the tea of others before yourself. Now in this case, because this is a metal teapot, we don't have the dripping spout. But if you have the ceramic teapots, a lot of them drip because the tips are broken. But that usually means it's a good restaurant because they're really well used. So here I am also pouring into my own teacup because Emily does not drink very much tea. Now one thing that you may want to know when you go to a dim sum restaurant is that when you run out of water, there's no more tea left. The proper practice is to lift the lid and leave it open. I'm not going to do that because we still have water in here. So, no, I'm good. Now see, that works. I wasn't lying. Now the story behind it is that there was this emperor, and I don't know which one, but the story behind it is that there were a bunch of people having tea, and back in the day, back in ancient Chinese times, I guess, not sure what else to call it, a lot of people have birds. They'd walk around with their birds in their bird cages, and the bird cage, or the birds, were a sign of wealth or prosperity. So everybody was having dim sum, and one of the birds got out. Well, luck would have it, there was a teapot nearby, and the emperor, or maybe it wasn't an emperor, but it was somebody, probably somebody famous, they caught the bird in their teapot to keep it from flying too far away. Well, the waiter, hearing the teapot, thought that meant the teapot had no, or was out of water. So he came over and he filled the teapot with water, thus killing the bird, unfortunately. So now, the common thing to do is to leave the lid up so that you know there's no bird there, and so that you know that you need to add, or that the waiter needs to add water. So that's the history behind why you leave the lid open when you need water for your teapot. All right, Emily, look, we got some more sticky rice. All right, let's get it closer to your plate there. Okay, it's pretty hot. It's the ritual of the unwrapping of the sticky rice. So we have a couple layers of rice, top and bottom. We got some meat. So essentially chicken, pork, and probably some gravy, not to be confused with goo. And go ahead and take a bite, or go ahead and dig in, Emily. Using the two-hand method.
Very hot.
Okay. But is it very good? Or is it just very hot?
It's very hot.
Okay. Alright, well, word of warning. Don't eat things that are too hot. Alright, so we just finished our dim sum meal, and I feel like I can talk a little bit louder here now because we were trying to be a little bit incognito in the restaurant. But so we just had our meal at China Yuan, and it was really very good. Which, on the other hand, is not unusual because it is a very good dim sum restaurant to go to here in the Tampa Bay area. I will say that we're a little subjective because we have gone there for quite a few years, and of course we like it. But my parents were here this summer, and we took them there for dim sum, and they told us that the dim sum there was actually better than some of the restaurants in Toronto. So that's saying something, and for those of you that actually have had dim sum in Toronto, you know that dim sum is very good there. The Chinese food in Toronto is it's like any of the other major cities where you get good Chinese food, such as New York, San Francisco, Boston, Shanghai, you know, all those places that have good Chinese food. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want good dim sum, try out China Yuan. We give it 2 thumbs up if I was not holding the steering wheel and covering the logo to the car. But we give it 2 thumbs up. It is a very good place to go. We highly recommend it. It's, I believe it's on Armenia, just north of Waters. So go ahead and give it a try if you want to try some good dim sum.